So please welcome back Jonathan Parker, the director, and also welcome Eric McCormack.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for staying.
Thank you.
I love you too, sir. Deeply. The way only two men can. How about this, though, right? Did you enjoy this? You had Parker Posey. You don't need Deborah Messing. After you.
Does anyone other than him have a question? Yes, please.
With the character of the architect, Mr. Frayn's character, it seemed sort of as I was watching the movie, I was like, this character is actually like he's in a thriller. And it kind of did go that way a little bit. Was that intentional, sort of put that sort of thrillery setup into a comedy, or make a comedy as a thriller, or
Did people need the question repeated? Okay. Just basically comment that it was James Frayn's character plays it a bit like he's in a thriller. Was that intentional?
You know, actually, there's a whole other version of this film. It's exactly the same cut, but it has a completely different soundtrack that was designed to make it more of a thriller. And yeah, it is. When you deal with satirical elements, this is certainly a story that could have gone either way, and but we elected to kind of emphasize the comedy side of it. But there is definitely a thriller aspect, and I'm glad you grabbed that.
Yes. Next. Okay, we'll go up here, and then we'll come to you, please. Yes?
I was just wondering about the house, actually. The acting was fabulous. I'm wondering about, you're welcome. Wondering about the house. Like, where did this, was it all CG'd, or was that really a structure?
Well, it's both on the inside and the outside. We just built a very small, practical, single-story partial set, and then everything else was a CG set extension. Well, thanks.
One story, though, Jonathan, was it San Diego or San Francisco? Where was the school?
No, it was in San Francisco. The Academy of that all of the special effects, the digital effects, were done by the students at the Academy of Art in San Francisco.
So we shot this movie 11 years ago, and we just waited for them to get finished. Is basically what happened.
No, it actually, and when you work with a school, it's kind of an interesting thing because students are never in school. It's like they can't work there. It's the Christmas break. No, it's spring break. No, it's ski week. Or they're just, the semesters kept changing, and it actually took a while, but it was well worth waiting for. And several graduating classes moved through the school, still working on this project. So it had a.
That's why we interrupted the credits, because there's about 1,000 names of students who worked on the CGI.
Yes, there was a question in here. Well, maybe while you're remembering the question, I was interested to hear where it was shot. It was shot north of Seattle, Everett.
We were in Snohomish County, in Everett and Mukilteo, and then obviously some Seattle, but mostly up in Everett. We got a grant from Snohomish County and a very generous state of Washington tax incentive, and that's what brought us there.
Yes, sir.
Your casting the principal casting is Canadian? You're Canadian?
I am Canadian, but I was the only one.
Oh, is Parker Canadian?
She is not.
Oh, okay. So when you're looking at your budget, try to look at Vancouver in terms of what the opportunities were?
Did you consider Vancouver?
Yeah.
Well, I personally wasn't considering either. My producer he had a relationship in Washington State. He had brought other films there, and he knew he could get a grant in addition to the tax credit. So I don't think we ever considered Vancouver. Although with a new production I'm working on, we are considering Vancouver.
Yes, please.
how did the James frame compare, Eric, to your real-life McCormack, your real-life architect in Bethany?
My real-life architect is here tonight. Where is he? He should be beside you, isn't he? Where'd he go? Bussy couldn't take it. He ran out. My real-life architect actually kind of looks like James Frain's dad, right? Am I crazy? I mean, it's very similar. But no, our real-life architect was fantastic. Jim Bussy with Formworks is here tonight. And what we still had to tussle. I mean, you tussle with clients because clients don't know what you know and they want what they want. And then all of a sudden, husbands and wives. I mean, my wife and I fought as much as we sided together. Plus, in our case, building here in Vancouver, we added an interior decorator to that. So imagine this with a very bitchy interior decorator and Jim, am I right? And so. It was amazing, but no, we ended up with a house that we love, that we didn't have to paint the exterior to be happy.
And in another strange twist, we're showing this movie at the Mill Valley Film Festival in a couple of days, and my architect is going to be there. But weirdly, we made this movie, and then we decided to build a house. So actually, this I have to explain very many times to her that nothing that happened in the movie was based on any of our own relationship. I'm just trying to decide how much to humiliate her at the screening by introducing her.
And what's ahead for the film? Does it have distribution? Will people get a chance to see it in theaters?
The film does have distribution. It's being distributed outside of the U.S. by Fox, and it will be on Showtime in the U.S. and it'll be released on the internet platforms and downloaded. Yeah.
And I'll be showing it at my house every Sunday for the next 6 months. So I'll give everybody that address when we're done.
And you're all welcome to come see it at Eric's house again.
Well, unless there's any other questions, I think we should thank you. Oh, there is one here, please.
What was the tension with, you had a lot of conflicts, I guess, a lot of left brain, very dynamic, female, rationalization, creativity. What was the intention with that?
The question was about the left brain, right brain conflicts, and what was the intention with that?
Well, I think it was not so much an intention as real people that I know, and a couple that my co-writer was in a relationship for several years, and that was a little bit of the dynamic in that relationship, and so that was kind of the genesis of those two characters, and as Eric and Parker played these roles, it actually caused us to kind of change the story a little bit as we went along, because they did such a convincing job of being a kind of despite their differences, a sort of a loving couple, that we kind of made some alterations in the script and decided we wanted to keep them together at the end.
The focus groups liked me.
If only we had a focus group.
Yes, please.
I noticed that the house numbers on the old house that got crunched was 1313. Was that random or was that intentional?
It's just that whole house teardown was totally coincidental. We were location scouting, and we had found this house that we did use for both the house that's kind of the fixer-upper that they start walking around, but we also used the interior of the house to be the house that they lived in at the beginning. And while we were scouting locations, we drove by and we saw this place, and we considered it as a location, and then realized it was about to be torn down. And this was before the production started, and we found out, oh yeah, it's actually going to be torn down like Thursday. So we just hired a couple of cinematographers to just come out and shoot the demo, basically, and it just kind of worked out quite. Yes, and that was actually the number.
Yes, please.
To what extent is the movie about Pacific Northwest as much as architecture?
To what extent is the movie about the Pacific Northwest as much as it is architecture?
Well, I don't know that it's so much about the Pacific Northwest, although this kind of a story is going to take place where land is valuable. And so the Pacific Northwest is certainly fits that fits that category, as does where I'm from, the Bay Area, and so it just seemed like a really good spot to set the movie, and we wouldn't have to pretend it was someplace else. We could actually just say, hey, isn't this a great place? Which is what we did. We decided to really feature Seattle and the Washington area just because it was so, when we got there, it was just so beautiful, and it just was a very nice feature for the film.
It really just started, the whole thing started as just an ad for Seattle tourism, and then they added characters, is what happened, really.
Okay. Oh, you see one? Good.
Hi, I'm just curious what your future projects are. You mentioned you're working on something for both of you.
Yeah, do you want to? Yeah, I'm working, we're casting for a film that is about the birth of San Francisco during the gold rush. So it's set in 1849, and it's a story that has not been told on film. San Francisco had about 300 or 400 people living there, and then a year later there were 50,000 people there, and it just was an international arrival. Everybody in their native garb during a time where people didn't really travel and even travel 15, 20 miles from their home. So that's what we're working on. It's called Boom, and we're casting right now.
Adam Sandler is attached. That's not true.
That's
not true. And I've been in Vancouver for 6 months shooting a show called Travelers, which will premiere on Monday night on Showcase. So you're filmed out. Now it's time to stay home and watch television.
Yes, top, please.
For Eric, how cold was the kayaking?
Anyone that knows me knows that if you look up athletic in the dictionary, my picture is not there. So I did more sports-oriented stuff in this movie than I've ever done in my life, which was awesome. But riding bikes in Lycra, it was very cold, and the kayaking was freezing, but fantastic. And that shot that you didn't even use the whole shot, because when I was kayaking, they had their camera like in a different state. It was incredible how far away they were, and I was just, I couldn't hear you. I mean, I was just sort of made stuff up, and you could have pulled back and seen the whole city. It was incredible.
This is why you don't invite the actor to the editing room, because what about the scene where I did that, and what about the shot where I did? They never really care that much about any of the other actors in the show, but they...
No, I thought the girl was very good. She seemed good.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming.